How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis, and we've got the second sailing developer blog from the old school RuneScape team. Since the first sailing developer blog went out, they've seen an awful lot of excitement, coupled with an awful lot of questions. In this developer blog, they want to answer all of the most pressing questions that have come up. So let's have a look at these big questions. In sailing, will I have to take part in PvP? No, PvP in sailing will be completely optional. It will work the same way that the wilderness does now. There's a clear defined area where PvP is possible, and you'll only have to enter it if you choose to. Getting the best experience rates will not be reliant on you entering PvP areas. There may be some good rewards available for taking on the chaos-ridden seas where PvP is possible, but you will not be forced to take them on. Next question. Will I need to be in a group to get the best experience rates? No, you'll be able to achieve the best rates when sailing solo. Next question. Can we get dungeoneering or summoning instead? When discussing possible new skills for old school, dungeoneering and summoning always come up in conversation. While there are elements to both these skills that many members of the community would like to see in old school, they have several reasons for not pursuing these skills. One of the key reasons for them not wanting to release dungeoneering or summoning is they want to take old school RuneScape in a different direction to RuneScape 3. The community have told them time and time again they want to see more content that is unique to old school, rather than recreating content from RS3. Creating new skills, rather than taking ones that have existed previously, gives them the freedom to make a skill that truly fits old school, and will continue to take the game on a path that is distinct from RuneScape 3. On top of this, dungeoneering and summoning both come with their fair share of balancing issues. Introducing either of these skills as they were would change old school RuneScape in a massive way. The impact that chaotic weaponry or the summoning skill would have on combat is huge, and big changes to the way combat works in old school is something that the community have consistently been against since day one. Creating a skill from scratch allows them to mould the balancing around old school to make sure they aren't turning the game on its head. Next question. Will sailing be more like a minigame than a skill? Not at all. Minigames are very self-contained and, outside of rewards, have no impact on the wider game. Sailing will be seamlessly integrated into the old school world, and will be a true part of the game. As you level up sailing, you will unlock the ability to do more and more with the skill. This will be applicable all over old school. This Friday they're going to be releasing an additional developer blog, shining some light on exactly how leveling in sailing will benefit you. They hope that this will give us all some more insight to the skill as a whole, as they provide some brand new information on sailing. If you've got any questions or feedback, let the old school RuneScape team know. They will address any concerns as they come up, or in future developer blogs. So this developer blog has had some big questions related to sailing. The first question about PvP I find rather interesting. They mentioned some rewards, and I was trying to think what they might come up with. I know for a fact that MobMac and perhaps some of the other old school RuneScape team like the idea of PvP armor. So potentially we could get PvP armor from sailing PvP. However, I quite like the idea of PvP not working in the traditional old school sense, where you've got two or more players attacking each other with melee, range or magic. I'd imagine sailing PvP to consist of ship battles, where you use cannons to damage the other ship, and you use planks and rope to board the other ship. Once you've destroyed the enemy ship, you can then loot the wreckage. The next question was a simple one. It was about group and solo content. They've stated that playing solo will give you the best amount of experience. However, I don't feel that that should be the case. I think it should be about an equal footing. Or maybe they should at least balance it so you get the most XP when you're solo, but you get more rewards when you're playing as a group. Then we had an interesting question about why can't we just have dungeoneering or summoning? And really it's down to the fact that it will throw the game's balance off a heck of a lot. Personally, I enjoyed both summoning and dungeoneering. I did see dungeoneering more as a minigame than a skill, and summoning gave us a lot of useful abilities, such as certain teleports with a familiar. However, I think that if we do want those abilities, there are plenty of other ways we can introduce them. And I'd also quite like to mention Artisan and Divination here. I'm glad that they've not even mentioned any of these skills in this dev blog, and most people don't really talk about them. Obviously, Artisan being shot down by the old school community will mean that not many people are going to really bring it up. And Divination being a strongly RuneScape 3 skill, it was never in RuneScape 2, means that most of the old school RuneScape players don't really know much about it. And personally, I am also one of those old school RuneScape players. I believe Divination to be similar to fishing, however instead of getting fish, you're getting energy. And finally, will sailing be more like a minigame? Personally, I think the first developer blog made it sound like dungeoneering at sea. And seeing as I see dungeoneering as a minigame, because it's self-contained, then I imagine sailing to be mostly self-contained at sea and ports. In fact, both dungeoneering and sailing can be trained the same way, as a group or solo, and it makes me really think of a minigame. One example of a minigame that works well like this is Blast Furnace, where you can play it on your own or with a group of players. To me, a skill is just a basic concept that can be trained in groups or solo activities. For example, magic is the ability to cast spells, and you can train it in PvP, the Mage Arena, the Mage Training Arena, and other places. With sailing, I feel it's not really a basic concept, and there won't really be the possibility of other activities to evolve around it. Mostly because it sounds like it's its own activity. And I think that this is one of the things that I'm really unsure about sailing with, and dungeoneering definitely had flaws with. If you are going to be making a skill, it should just be a basic idea. And from that basic idea, you should be able to spawn many activities. I can't say my opinion on sailing has really changed that much during this developer blog. I think by the time we get the new developer blog on Friday, I might be able to give some more opinions on sailing. What do you think about the way they've been explaining sailing so far? Is it a minigame? Is it a skill? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to watch the original developer blog, please click here for sailing. And if you want to watch the latest Old School RuneScape news post, please click here for the tournament on the 15th and 16th of August. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, DevBlogs and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.